Hello class, this is June 2009. Alright, so let us go over these questions together. So here we have angle A. Angle A goes from 50 to 60. Then angle B goes from 90 to 100. Now, correct range of the angle C. Now, the thing is, in order for to have C to be max, it should the other two angle has to be minimum. That means 50 plus 90. These will be the minimum. Then this, we realize that plus measure of angle C would have been equal to 180. Now, when you subtract 140, which is sum of these two from each side, then in that case, angle C will be equal to 40. Now, on the other hand, minimum, that means when the other two angles are as large as possible. So 60 plus 100 plus measure of angle C will be equal to 180. In this case, measure of angle C would have been equal to simply 20. So 22, 40 becomes our answer. Choice number 1. Alright, how about the next one? So here we have AB is congruent to BE, and angle A is congruent to angle D. Now angle B is congruent to angle E. Now notice that these are angle side angle in the order angle side angle. So therefore our answer will be choice 3. That becomes our answer. Let us move on. Here. Now, under which transformation will this be image of? Now, technically what they wanted you to do here was rotation. You see about this point, when this picture rotates, and it would have been right over here. So in fact, technically rotation works, but dilation also works too, because dilation of -1 about that point. So in fact, these two technically works. But it cannot be translation, and then it will not be a glide reflection. So, and technically any one of these two would have been fine. Alright, let us move on. Regular pyramid. Regular pyramid basically means all the edges are equal to each other. Which edges now becomes congruent isosceles triangles. So there it goes. Reflected about the x-axis. That means only our y value will be negated. So instead of 4, -7, it will be 4, 7. Alright. Number 6. Here we have AD is 60. That means this portion right here, that becomes 30. But since these are parallel, so CDB, which means this angle, will also be same as 30. Choice 2 becomes our answer. Alright, here we have perpendicular. Now, perpendicular, that means the slope here has to be negative reciprocal, so that means we are looking at -2. Maybe this one and maybe this one. But it also has to pass through -2, 5. So for example, if I were to plug in -2 in place of x and 5 in place of y, let's see if it fits. 5 equals -2 times -2, the value of x that's given, plus 1. Here we have 4 plus 1. So it checks out. So second one will be our answer. Now number 8. So, which composition transformation would or was used? So here, notice a C came from way up there. It's in fact the other side of the origin. Only way that's possible is either rotation or dilation by -1. Now, that means I'm thinking we have this one and this one. And then when you look at the size, it became halved. That means we're looking at dilation up by 1/2. So therefore, our final answer would be choice number 3. Alright, number 9. Sum of the exterior angle is always 360, no matter what kind of polygon it is. On the other hand, Sum of the interior angles is n minus 2 times 180. That becomes sum of the interior angles. But we know that the equilateral triangle, sum of the interior angle also becomes 180. So the difference between these two is 180. Now, number 10. Circle here, formula is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Notice that h and k has a very negative sign in it. That means if negative 3 and then 5 are the center, then we would have x minus negative 3 squared plus y minus 5 squared. That would be the beginning setup. But radius is 4. Here, the radius is r. So 4 squared. That's basically what we're looking for. That means x has to be x plus 5. That means these two. And then on the other hand, 4 squared becomes 16. So our answer will be choice number 2. Number 11. Length of these triangles. Now, meaning bigger the angle opposite, the longer the opposite side is. So if I have a triangle, okay, so I'm trying to just make something a little bit look real. So here we have, this is 35, and that's C, and this is A, 95, and then this is 50 by B. Now, then since 95 is the biggest, longest side becomes BC. BC becomes the longest side. In fact, that gives us only one choice. Choice number 2. Alright, let us move on. Here we have both 5 units from the origin. Now then, let us try to just use some graph paper here. So, here we have 5 units away from the origin. Okay, now 2 units from the x-axis. Alright, so now how many points satisfy this one? Answer seems to be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So therefore 4 becomes our answer. Alright, contrapositive, that means we need to switch the order. So I should say, if I will bump my head, or if I bump my head, which will be possibly first one, and then second one, and then fourth one. But changing this order becomes converse. But contrapositive is converse and inverse, meaning we have to negate that too. So technically, it should say, if I will not bump my head, or I do not bump my head. So we have this one and this one. I am tall. When it goes to the other side, it should say, I am not tall. Having the idea of inverse. So therefore, choice number 4 becomes our answer. Here, medians. Centroid. It means the ratio has to be 2 to 1. So that means CP here is 2 times of PF. If PF is x, then CP must be 2x. Hence, trying to express this one, that means we have 2x plus x. The total length must be 6. So 2x plus x, which goes to 6. That choice number 2 becomes our answer. Here now we have the relationship which you can set up If this is 6, this is 8, that means we know that the opposite side is 10. Hypotenuse must be 10. Now expression is 6 squared is equal to x times 10. That means 36 is equal to 10x, where x becomes now, divide by 10, 3.6. That becomes our answer. Alright, here we have this is 8, this one is 4. Now they want us to find out the length CD, so why don't I call this one as x. Now then we have expressions 8 squared is equal to 4 times 4 plus x. And here we have 64, which is equal to 16 plus 4x. When you subtract 16, we'll end up having 48 is equal to 4x, where x will become now 12. Now, here we have similar. Chances are that it's going to be AA, but let's see if it works or not. CAB, that angle, is equal to CED, that angle. But even though they didn't mention, these two vertical angles are equal to each other, so it's got to be AA. That's it. Alright, so let us continue with number 18. Here we have point P is on line M. Now, total number of planes that are perpendicular to line M and passes. So, in fact, there can be, if there is a line, there can be many planes that cut across the the line. But the thing is, there's only one perpendicular plane that passes through point P. This plane cannot cut across here, nor here, but it has to be right over here, because it has to pass through this point P. Alright, therefore our answer is 1. Number 19. Here we have midpoint. Midpoints, that means simply getting the average between the two coordinates here. So we have 2, 4, 6. L becomes -6. And then 1. Now N becomes 2, 4, 8, 1. No, I mean 1, 8. So then, when we put them together, the -6 plus 1 over 2, that's the x value, and y value becomes 1 plus 8 over 2. Then we end up getting -5 over 2 and 9 over 2. That becomes our final. Then, this seems to be choice number 4. Alright, now here we gotta have center at 5, -1. You see the signs are opposite from the equation, and the radius must be equal to 3. So 5, -1, this works. Not this one. Not this one either. The radius has to be 3, so I see that 1, 2, 3 units. So in fact, that is correct. Now, here we have volume. How do you find the volume? Volume is base area times height. But since it's a cone, we're going to have 1/3 of that. Now, then here, 1/3 pi, r here becomes 4 squared times the height, which is 12. Now, and once you calculate this one, this one becomes 64 pi. 64 pi is about 201. So therefore, our answer will be 201. All right. Here we have what are the coordinates of center? center, because since there's nothing with x coordinate for us, the center is 0, and then y becomes opposite sign right here, -3. That becomes the center, 0, -3. And then radius becomes the square root of this number 13, so our final answer becomes choice number 4. Alright, so we have find the number of intersections. So in fact, in this case, excuse me, when you sketch these two curves, this one would look something like this. Now here x equals 4. X equals 4, that means it's going to be vertical line like that. That means there's only one such possibility. Alright, number 24. Triangle PQR. So let me try to draw the triangle first. So here we have P, Q, R, and then PQ is extended through Q. So that means we have extended through Q, and then at the point T. That is the new point. What is the statement? Which statement is not always true? So it's angle R, which is this one, smaller than RQT. Yes, because this angle is sum of this angle and the other angle by exterior angle formula. So first one is true. Second one, RQT, which is this angle, is greater than angle P. That's also true. Same logic as number 1. Now RQT is in fact summation of angle R and then angle P, these two. That's right, by the exterior angle. But the fourth one, we have no idea. RQT. RQT, this angle versus PQR, these two angles. In this picture, this seems to be better, but it doesn't have to be. It can be, the other one can be also bigger too. So therefore, our answer is choice number 4. Angle bisector, it always has to have an arc in the beginning, right here. This one will be the correct answer. Number 26. So we gotta find the slope first here. Slope here becomes, by subtracting 2x, 3y is equal to -2x plus 12. By dividing it by 3, we end up getting y equals -2 over 3x plus 4. Now, this is the equation of this line, but we're looking for something perpendicular. So slope has to be y equals 3 over 2x plus something. Now, how can we have 3 over 2 here? That seems to be choice number 2. Alright, let us move on. Alright, so we're continuing with number 27. So we have a triangle, and then I'll say this is A, B, C. So that point D is on AB, and then point E is right here, but they are parallel to the base, which is AC. So therefore, I'm going to draw the line first. Here, so let's get going. DB is 2. DA is equal to 7. And DE is equal to 3. What is AC? Now, here we have, be careful, it's not 2 to 7. It's going to be 2 to 9, because the whole triangle. is equal to 3 over x. So what do we end up getting? 2x equals 27, x equals 13.5, which is choice number 4. Two planes are parallel and third plane intersects both. So in this case, we could have something like this. First one, second one, and somehow third one cut across. The only thing that's possible here is the pair of parallel lines. One parallel line right here, another one could have been right over here. Number 29. Connecting the midpoints. Now, that means we're looking around here, here, something along the line. I'm sure you will have done it with the ruler. Find the perimeter of the triangle here. That means each side will be, AB used to be 10, now it's going to be 5. Instead of 16, we're going to have 8. Instead of 14, we're going to have 7. So then in this case, sum becomes 20. Number 21. Perpendicular. Okay, but it has to go through the line P. That means okay. Now we have to go from here, hold it smaller, or maybe a bit bigger, and then go to intersection at the end. Then you will realize that this is intersection between those two. So here we have and therefore the answer is correct. Alright, so we get to realize here 3 right angle. Alright, next. Let's be parallel to this one. That means when you have subtracting 2x, then y equals negative 2x plus 3. Now, parallel, that means we're going to keep negative 2, so y equals negative 2x plus b, and then by plugging in 4 equals negative 2 times 5 plus b. And here we have 4 equals negative 10 plus b. b is equal to 14. Alright, so therefore our final answer is y equals negative 2x plus 14. Now here we have sketch the points that are equidistant from A and B. That means it has to be perpendicular bisector. Okay, there it goes. And then the ruler. Alright, so we have to do the second part, which is the 2 units away from A. That means if I have to bring it over here, and then we use another color So since this is 1.5, it should be bigger than that. And then when you draw the circle, we realize that point x will set both conditions, so it will be x right here, and then x right over here. Those are two of our answers. Now this is truth value. Now 2 is uneven, so this portion is true. 3 is an even integer. No, this is false. But since the connection is or, meaning disjunction, therefore any one of them has to be true. Since this one is true, the whole statement is true. All right, here, two similar triangles, that means angles has to be equal to each other. So we have 4x plus 30 must be equal to 5x plus 10. And when you subtract 4x from each side, we get 30, which is equal to x plus 10. When you subtract 10, x equals 20. That becomes our answer. All right, here we have the ratio of TA to AC is 1 to 3. That means if this one is x, this one is 3x. But notice that these are tangent line segments, so therefore the makeup of this one is equal to the makeup of this one. Since they say TS is 24, in fact what we can do is x plus 3x could also be equal to 24. Then we get 4x equals 24. X becomes 6. Now find SE. SE is from this portion which is corresponding to 3x, therefore the answer will be 18. Okay, so we have 3 points here. Perimeter of the triangle. Now, perimeter of the triangle simply means sum of 3 sides. So, AB basically means between these two. So we have -6 plus 3 squared, x1 minus x2, plus 2 minus 6 squared. Then here we have 9, and here we have plus 16, which is equal to square root of 25, which is equal to 5. How about BC? BC here becomes 5 minus -3 squared. That's the first portion. And then plus 6 squared. That means here we have 8. So square root of 64 plus 36, which is square root of 100, which is equal to 10. So that's BC. Now we need to go for AC. I'll do AC right over here. AC. Now, then square root of 5 so 5 minus -6 squared plus 2 squared. Now here we have 11 squared, which is square root of 121, plus 4, which is equal to square root of 125. When you simplify this one, then you will end up getting 5 square root of 5. And our final answer is we have to add up all 3 of them. Therefore, we get 15 plus 5 radical 5. That becomes our answer. Number 37. So we have 4 of them. State the vertices of that. So let's try to make a map, then we might be able to get it. So we have A, B, C, D. And then here we have -2, 2, 3, 5, 4, 2, -1, -1. But when this one is going through, we have to do the right one first. Translation by 2, -3. So adding 2 to -2 becomes 0. -3, 2, 2 becomes 1, -1. And the second one, here we get 5, 2. Third one is 6, -1. This -3 plus 2 becomes still -1. -1, -1 for D becomes 1, -4. Now, after this, we need to reflect it about y-axis. In order for it to reflect it about y-axis, then what's going to be happening is y value stays the same, but x will be negative. So we have first one becomes 0, -1. Second one says only x changed, so we have -5, 2. And then third one, C, 4, 6, 7. So it's going to be -6, 7. And then the last one, 1, -4 becomes 1. Only the x value gets negative, -1, -4. All right. How to prove that these two lines are parallel? Parallel many times implies that alternate interior angles are congruent. So here we have midpoint BD. It means this line segment is equal to this one. AE also, therefore this must be equal to this one. Now, but these two, when you look at it side, but when you look at the angle in between them, you will realize that these two triangles must be congruent by side, angle, side. Now that means we realize that this angle is congruent to this angle. Soon as we get to realize that these are alternate interior angles and they're congruent to each other, then we realize that those two lines must be parallel. Alright, that's it.